Why, hello there, and welcome to my basement. Now, typically, when we do these videos, we are out in the world, we are exploring, we're checking out filming locations in person. For this video, this is going to be a recap. This is going to be my top 10 places that I visited this year, filming locations that I visited this year. Now, we're going to have some rules with this. Only one location per movie, otherwise it would be kind of like just my other videos. And honestly, I could change my mind at any given point. So like a week from now, you could ask me, I'd be like, oh no, I like this one better than that one. So just things to keep in mind. But this is my top 10 filming locations that we have visited this year. Well, last year. It's 2023. Top 10 filming location visits of the year 2022. Let's get this list rolling. Coming at you, number 10. We're here at the Circle K. The address is 1010 West Southern in Tempe, Arizona. Now, the Circle K was open when I visited. Unfortunately, it has recently been closed. The Bill and Ted Circle K is no more. Keanu Reeves sat on that sidewalk right there. But this was very fun. I love Bill and Ted. It's such a fun adventure. It's a great film, great movie. I absolutely love it. And this is going to come in at number 10 for this year. The Circle K from Bill and Ted. Number 9. This one's going to be pretty much this whole town. So in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, in Provincetown, American Horror Story Season 10. Although the second part of the season, this season was broken up into 2 separate stories. The second part I did not really like, I didn't really enjoy. However, this season, the beginning part of the season was fun. So this is Provincetown. The whole setting of the show takes place here in Provincetown. There's quite a few locations. I said I'm only going to do one location for each one, but it's one town. We're going to have a similar situation a little bit here on this list, but this whole town just sets the whole mood for this season. If you're not a fan of American Horror Story, basically this season they have pills that they take, and it creates, if you're a creative person, it takes your creativity and just makes it absolutely top-notch. The side effect to that is basically you become somewhat like a vampire. So you're not actually a vampire in the sense of you're undead or anything like that, but you want to eat people. you need to consume blood. So this Provincetown, very awesome town. If you ever get the chance to visit it, I highly recommend it. But you throw a filter over it, and it is the perfect horror setting. And it was fun. Good times. We had the American Horror Story cast, the regulars like Sarah Paulson, Evan Peters, and we had Macaulay Culkin, among others. It was a solid first half of the season, at least. Number 8. This location would have been a little bit higher on the list, I believe, if I hadn't already visited it. We are at the Hawkins High School from Stranger Things. My previous visit, it was dressed as the Hawkins Middle School. This is not too far from Atlanta, Georgia. It's a great location. So this school, it is a real school, was a real school. It is unfortunately going to be demolished. There is no set date as of I'm aware now. I don't know if they filmed any more things from Stranger Things here. It definitely had an abandoned vibe to it this time when I visited. The first time I visited, there were people there that was working, there were people inside. I don't believe it's abandoned, but it was there wasn't anyone there. I forget, it was a Saturday or a Sunday. I believe it was a Sunday, actually. And it was deserted. There was no one around. Good, great time exploring this. I'd love to get inside. Got some really good shots through the windows where it almost appears if we're inside. The building was locked, obviously, and they get quite a few visitors there. But yes, number 8, Stranger Things. Number 7. We're gonna find ourselves here. There's not much to see, but I absolutely loved this location. This is the dry lake bed from Mars Attacks, Tim Burton's Mars Attacks. This is actually the location where the aliens arrive, where the Martians arrive, and we find out that they do not come in peace. Now, not a whole lot to see at this location, as it's literally just a dry lake bed, but it's so much fun. I love it. It's absolutely amazing. It's unreal. Like, you can't grasp how large this spot actually is. It's absolutely incredible. About 30-ish miles north of Kingman, Arizona. It is really out in the middle of nowhere. We were actually driving on our way. It took us on a little bit of a detour, not much, but we were going from Las Vegas to Phoenix, and we found ourselves here. I had to stop here, and we actually spent quite a bit of time. It was super windy. Anytime I try and fly the drone, it's windy every time. It's absolutely crazy, but this was an absolutely fun location nonetheless. Mars Attacks. Number 6! Number 6 is gonna be the cemetery from Logan. I'm very happy I found this one. We did some Logan locations. Not a whole lot of information. Some of the main ones were pretty easy to find. This cemetery I actually found was listed incorrectly on a lot of sources. They actually have a cemetery in Louisiana that they have listed that is not the correct spot. So this is actually the Green Lawn Cemetery in Hammond, Louisiana. And this is it. This is definitely the spot where we see Logan. Basically, he's just kind of grieving. He's not at a funeral, anyone in relation to him. He's just driving the limo. But you can tell he's in rough shape. He's not in a good way. But this cemetery was a good spot. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say because it wasn't a huge plot point in the film or anything like that. It's just I really enjoyed this location. Cemeteries are beautiful. They're peaceful. They're relaxing. They're, you just I don't know what else to say. I don't know. I like them. Logan Cemetery, Green Lawn Cemetery, Hammond, Louisiana. Number 5. Number 5 is going to be the barn and house from Looper, another Louisiana location. I was actually pointed out to this one by Ryan from Going to the Movies. Thank you, Ryan. I am so happy I went to this one. It's nice. It's secluded. It's out in the middle of nowhere. I love locations that are just out in the middle of nowhere. Most of them, when you go visit locations, they tend to not be where they're portrayed. So a lot of times easy access, things like that, which is understandable. When you're creating a film, you want to be able to easily do it. But then you have locations like this, which are not in the middle of nowhere, but out there pretty darn good. And this house and barn from Looper is incredible. It's almost identical from the film, which is pretty crazy, considering that the film came out in 2012, so it's over 10 years ago, and the barn and house are just beautiful. The cornfields, well, they're not cornfields. I call them cornfields. It's cornfields from around me. I'm not really sure what they were, to be honest with you. I'm not up on my crop knowledge. But great movie, and the feeling is just, it feels like you're in the film when you're there, and it's great. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis, Emily Blunt. Amazing film. It really is a good time. Number 4. Number 4 is going to be a whole area again. So basically this little town, so Seaside, Florida, was the set of the Truman Show. So almost, there were locations that were a little out of the way. We did visit those locations, but the town itself of Seaside, Florida, just absolutely incredible. A lot of it looks exactly like it did in the film, which is insane again, because the Truman Show, we said that with Looper, but the Truman Show is even older. It was released in 1998, and like even to the point where on the house it still shows the 36. But the fact that they have the 36 on there from the movie is just still incredible. But a few blocks away from the house is the little town square, or town octagon, or town whatever you want to call it. Looks very, very similar to the movie. Trees are a little bit larger. Other than that, everything, it's very recognizable, which just sets the tone. It makes you feel like you are in the Truman Show. The store where Marlon worked at, it's still operating. You can go in there. The ladder is still there. It's an incredible feeling to be in this town. So Seaside, Florida, the Truman Show, all the way out on the Panhandle. It's a location to be enjoyed. Take it all in. Run some laps around this gazebo like me, so you can make a fool of yourself. But it's a great time. Great location. Number 3 is gonna be Amity. It's Amity from Jaws, 1975's Jaws. Now we were talking about time, length, and how things still look the same. This is incredible. This is Edgartown, Massachusetts, located on the beautiful Martha's Vineyard Island, and Edgartown looks exactly like Amity. Almost 50 years, not quite 50 years, but almost 50 years have gone by, and you can tell you are in Amity. You can stroll the same streets that Chief Brody, skipping along. It's incredible. This one too, it's such a good location. It's so high on the list. I could spend so much time here. If you ever have the opportunity to go to Martha's Vineyard, do it. It's a great time. Hopefully it won't be as windy as it was for me, but it is truly amazing. Edgartown is Amity, just like Seaside is Seahaven. Like, this is Amity Island. It is incredible. It is amazing. If you're a Jaws fan, you have to make this trip at least once in your lifetime. You need to stand where Chief Brody once stood. Number 2 on the list is going to be the Twin Pines Mall. So it's actually the Twente Hills Mall in City of Industry, California. Now, we visit these Back to the Future locations. Back to the Future, along with Jaws, is one of my absolute all-time favorite movies. It was so hard to pick one location because I visited quite a few of them, but it's gonna have to be the mall. The reason why it's gonna have to be the mall, this is where we are first introduced to Doc Brown, to the DeLorean, to Einstein, to time travel. Yes, the flux capacitor. The first time we see the flux capacitor fluxing in the DeLorean is right here in this parking lot, and it's just film history. Now, it is a open mall. It is working. There's stores open inside. We took a stroll through, but the real beautiful thing to see is out here in this parking lot. And for number 1, a very, very surprising number 1. I did not expect it to be number 1 on my list until I went there. The old Crawford Mill from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, this mill, it's an old cotton gin. It's located in Walburg, Texas. Not too far from Granger. Granger is where the house was located from this film, the Hewitt residence. And just the vibe that this place puts off. Like, it felt like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was a little breezy when I was there, so there was creaks and groans and moans coming from the building, and it incredible. Like, it's the ambiance was amazing. I was there alone. I don't get creeped out typically, you know, by things. And it didn't creep me out because I enjoyed it so much. But I was walking around alone there for quite some time. I was just kind of hanging out, taking it all in. But this was my favorite location from 2022 that we visited. And I really didn't expect this to be my favorite from the list. I really wanted to visit these Texas Chainsaw Massacre locations, as I do enjoy the movie. It is a good adaptation, you know, a remake that's actually good. It doesn't happen too often. It happens, but not too often. But this location was just amazing. I can't explain it. Just being there was just absolutely incredible. Once again, I've said this multiple times with these, but it felt like you were in the movie. I mean, there were things sitting there from when they filmed. Like, there was a tractor there. That tractor has been sitting there since they filmed. That blows my mind how things like that happen. It's just absolutely incredible. And it really is incredible. This one, I was speaking with Mary the Girly Girl about, you know, she kind of gave me some advice with going to it, you know, as far as it being out in the middle of nowhere and someone, you know, they're probably not going to bother you. The building is marked no trespassing. We may have slipped inside just to take a peek, take a gander. It's an amazing location, and I hope it stays there because I can't begin to express how amazing it was to visit. And that is going to wrap up my top 10 filming locations of 2022. We went to a lot of other locations, and it was very hard to pick a top 10. Now, these were 10 locations that I made videos on. There were a lot of locations that I didn't make videos on. There was one location that Scott on Tape made a video. We were at the general store from Friday the 13th, part 6. It was myself, Scott on Tape, Randy from Big Bake on the Move, and Ryan from Going to the Movies. That was a good time. I want to get together with those guys again. You know, we've got to visit some more locations, but things like Cobra Kai, Haunting of Hill House. If I could have gotten closer to the house, that location would have definitely been on this list. We did Spider-Man, Jaws 2. There's so many. I can't even think of half the locations I did. It really blows my mind how many locations we were able to visit this year. Also, theme parks. We got lots of theme parks that we got to visit for the first time. Cedar Point, Disneyland, Legoland in New York. We actually saw Kevin James there riding a ride. I got to film Kevin James enjoying himself on a ride at Legoland, New York. How random is that? It's pretty crazy. But it's just, overall, it has been a great year. And if you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel. We do lots of filming locations, theme park videos, and random things from time to time. I must add, one of my favorite days of the year, myself and my friend Nick, we dressed up as Men in Black, and we flew to Florida for one day to ride the Men in Black ride as Men in Black agents, and then we flew home all in one day. We live in Pennsylvania, so we're not particularly close to Florida, so that was a fun time. That was so much fun. That was a good time. That was probably my favorite day, one single day of 2022. We got to see a lot of racing, so we saw some NASCAR, some Formula One, some NHRA, some sprint cars. We saw a lot of racing this year. Yeah, it's been a fun-filled year. So now, 2022 was a big one. Let's make 2023 even better. And until next time, I'm going to send you off to Bruce to end the video. Take it away, Bruce. Be good. Have fun. And learn something. Ha 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 ha.